Interesting. Man, every year those videos seem to get better, and I really enjoy it. So, every year, a handful of companies walk onto the PitchIT stage and really get to change what's possible for MSPs. And today, we're going to be front row to the next wave. This year is brand new, another season of PitchIT. And so I want to welcome you to the PitchIT live stream here through Central Mafia. I'm Adam Bielanski. I am your host. And if this is your first time with PitchIT, don't worry, we got you. This is going to be our awesome intro video. You're going to get the lay of the land. So every single week, we don't have to rehearse it every single time. But here's what makes us different. This is not a demo reel. It is ConnectWise's global accelerator for companies that really building what comes next for managed service providers. Founders pitch, right? Judges push. Right? They just push those buttons and they just ask questions. They challenge everything. They challenge the narrative. And the community gets real look at the tools, the ideas, and the business models that are going to shape how we deliver, grow, and scale MSPs. The best part is you're not watching just a trade show. You're watching the future of the industry get stress tested and just really in real time. But part of this exciting thing is I actually get to do it with mi amor, my friend, Sean Lardo. I'm never doing this alone. I always enjoy this banter. I always enjoying this. So Sean brings a kind of perspective you only get from someone who has lived inside the industry as long as he has, knows how to separate signal from the noise, if you will.
Wow. I don't know if I should go old though, as long as I have. Thank you though.
Yeah, but between the two of us, we'll call it as we see it, just like it is, and we pull out the insights that matter and make sure everybody that leaves this particular live stream with a good takeaway, right? A good highlight, more than just a highlight reel, right? Sean, welcome again, 2026 PitchIT. Glad to have you in the chair with me again, and we get to do this and have fun.
You know what? Thank you, Adam, for all of that. By the way, I think it's first off, it's important everybody understands right now what's transpired since from the last years to now. One being that you've relocated, from your previous home of the ConnectWise Tips and Tricks and CW Boss, and you've now come over to help the Central Mafia user group and to promote good content through there. And so thank you for that. I know Juan is excited. Everybody loves Juan more than they like me, so it's better to point out Juan Mac. Two, I think also it's important to acknowledge the fact of what this is all about that you actually went into is for those that have not seen this, what PitchIT is and what it means to the industry and why ConnectWise and IT Nation are relevant to this. So for those for the first time watching on this station here, know that what PitchIT is a competition. It's a Shark Tank competition for vendors that are startup coming in the industry. The reason why ConnectWise IT Nation are involved is ConnectWise was the founder of PitchIT. It's actually even trademarked from ConnectWise. And so each year, the goal is to find 22 to 26 vendors we have massive amounts of applications right now that we're going through. And there's a team that's going to look through these applications and they are going to pick the best 22 to 26, depending on what we like and don't like and what fits, meaning that the first couple of things they need to be able to do is A, support the MSP, B, integrate into the ConnectWise platform. Now, after that, we're not looking for concepts. They are for people that have customers. These are active working technologies. It doesn't matter what they do, what segment of business it is. People right now are, the last umpteen years, it's been, well, if we're not cybersecurity, should we even apply? Absolutely. Because if you look at the finalists each year, it's been a variety of different technologies up there that have cybersecurity and not. It's really about what's in the real world business application wise that's going to work. Yep. So, and what people should expect over the next 18 weeks approximately, 20 weeks approximately, they should expect to see you and I on live streams weekly talking about and interviewing the contestants that are sorted out.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, everybody watching, that application period ends at the end of the month. So if you're a vendor looking to try to participate and try to be accepted, you have to the end of this month to apply.
Yeah, 20 weeks. Why don't we just say like 5 months? Because, I'm not giving birth. I'm not counting the weeks at a time here. So, that was perfect timing for you to drink your coffee.
Actually, theoretically, we can't, in a weird way, we are giving birth. We're giving birth to the next finalist, the pitch it.
To entrepreneurism. So
yes.
So I love this platform. So here's how basically this show is going to work this year is, we're going to see founders, operators, managers of various contestants in PitchIT. You're going to hear the pitches. We're going to talk and we're going to dig in. We're going to break down what stood out, what to watch, and what it means for MSPs running real businesses and getting that story behind the scenes, right? Behind the founders, behind the managers, why they're involved in that. And so we want you to participate in this. We want you to ask questions, create reactions, and share, and drop them in the chat. We're monitoring the chat. We have a great team here at Central Mafia to be able to help us out. And we're reading them live, and we'll even post it on here. And if you've been buried under a rock and haven't seen any, there is actually, oops, wrong one. There's a application still open, right, Sean?
Yes. Yep, until the end of the month. Now, in order to be considered, you have to fill out both the short form and the long form. So once you submit to the short form, you will receive the long form. You must fill it out. It must be finished by close of business end of the month. Otherwise, you're not going to be accepted nor looked at. And if you want to know how serious we are about that, ask Thread. They did it before.
Yeah.
They missed the deadline the first year, so they weren't allowed to be in it. They applied the second year and ended up winning the whole damn thing. So probably worked out in their favor, maybe, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But no, the reality is, though, is like we're serious about it because we have to make sure we start to vet out these. We have so many applications. We have such little time because, not only are we going to vet this out, we vet it out quickly within the first week. We've already started shortlisting as the last couple months have gone on of companies that obviously don't even qualify. But, we are only a matter of 2 weeks away, almost, maybe a little bit over, where we will announce this year's cohort, which is all the people who were accepted. We announced that early May, by like May 5th, 6th, or 7th, around there, where there will be a press release. That'll be the first announcement of who's all actually been accepted into the competition.
Awesome. And so just for statistics purposes, are you able to talk about this? I'm just curious of like how many applications you actually received and then how many spots are available.
So, well, it's not about how many spots are available right now. It's 22 to 26. We have not finalized the list. All we did was remove the ones that we get some applications that they're not part of the space like they should be. So, or if they're just a concept, those are some that we remove, right? So when we say shortlist, we stick with the primary criteria first, which is, do they have a working product with customers? Are they able to integrate into ConnectWise? And is it for the MSPs period? That's the first thing of shortlisting. Right now, we have 60 some applications, approximately. I'm not sure, but I know it's over 60 now. And actually, we'll probably receive a good bit more over the next week because it usually happens at the end of the month where we get the surge in applicants. So,
yeah, fun time. You get 50 plus, 80 plus applicants. I don't know how. We'll
probably get over 80 applications this year, I'm sure.
Yeah. So let's dig into a little bit from last year. So what really stood out from you last year? What was like the peak moment last year as going through PitchIT?
So, like I mentioned before, people were worried about, if I don't do cybersecurity, should I be part of the competition? Will I get accepted? Will I even have a meaningful? Because cybersecurity was a hotbed, right?
Yeah.
And now it's AI everything, right? Yes, AI is a real thing. Cybersecurity is a real thing. It's actually a real need. Doesn't guarantee that you become the winner, because if you look at last year, even we went through a process last year through the competition, and actually the person that actually won, which was strategy overview rather, they're a QBR system. They're more than that. They add AI. And yeah. I will say, I probably something to actually add to this as I say this, Alex, for those, also just a role to get out there, you can be part of the PitchIT competition 2 times in the total life of your entity, as long as you weren't ever a finalist. If you're in the first year and you become a finalist, you can no longer be in the competition itself the next year. You can't repeat. However, Alex was in it the year before. He did okay. We had a conversation about how he presented everything and what he was doing. And the next year, last year, Alex knocked it out of the park. He really did. The way he did that was, first off, he back to AI. He implemented and added AI to his technology, made it really good. He worked on his presentation. He really went at it.
Really changed.
He really changed it. He lit up the stage. And something people should know too is other vendors come to watch the finals, which we haven't even gotten into, because they want to see the clinic of what vendors do that pitch properly on stage. That's how good these guys become. And Alex was a testament to that. And so were the other finalists. Let's be honest, they all crushed.
Oh, they crushed it.
I mean, it gets better every year. The competition gets harder every year. I don't envy the judges.
It's a difficult job, and especially the timer. He's got to stay on top of it. That's my role, So
yes,
clear. I love clock management. So Sean knows I have PTSD when it comes to making sure we're on time and end on time. So a couple more questions I'm just thinking about here, like thinking of back at the past several years of PitchIT winners, because we've been doing this seems like 5 years or so.
This will be 5. Yeah, this is 5.
Yeah. What is a pattern you see in the ones that actually went on to build real traction with MSPs after this particular show?
So we started to dabble in what this program consists of, right? We talked about it being a competition, right? And we will get to the prize conversation next at some point or other.
Yep.
But let's talk about the makeup of what happens over 16 weeks. Once we start this program, once we announce who's in it, there's 16 weeks of workshops that take place, right? These workshops are from industry leaders talking about what they do actually apply themselves to. So if it's marketing, they're a marketing leader. If it's sales, they're a sales leader in a space, whatever it may be. So we talk about everything from how to get on stage and present to how to actually market what you're doing, how to change messaging, product marketing, whatever it may be. That's the focus of all the training, plus how to get involved in PE, how to get yourself involved in as far as when you're doing your product roadmap of development, anything along those lines. They get that over 16 weeks. Not only do they get that over 16 weeks, but we put them into these communities where they're doing podcasts and live streams. So like they'll do it with us where they get interviewed. The goal for us is to help them work on their speak, right? Far too often, we've all been the culprit of it. We've all been the victim of it, where we say too much that's irrelevant to the person you're talking to. Or somebody said too much to us where you lost our attention. It's about getting to the key points. So we focus on working on the things.
Yeah.
And so you should expect, and this is the preparation, is every week these guys are doing these things to prepare for the end result, which is, like I said, we're going to accept 22 to 26 vendors. They're all trying to become the finalists. They want to speak on, they want to compete live on stage at IT Nation Connect Global in November.
Yeah, it's big stage, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. The competition gets tougher and tougher. You think, I'm like, man, that's totally awesome. He nailed his pitch. Then it just surprises you, right? Mm-hmm. So in prior years, contestant put you on the spot a little bit. Who at the time you thought was a long shot, but ended up surprising you? And what did they see? What did we misread on that contestant?
Well, I mean, there's a couple, right? I'll go. So there's 2, and actually, Sam Hoyen that actually helps me to run this. He already sent me his message on who you asked the question. He right away said Mizo. Last year, Mizo, right?
Yep.
Although I thought they did good while we were going through the preliminaries, even. But Mizo being, they're talking about automating help desk and whatnot, right? Which has become a very popular thing. And this is me throwing one person under the bus and giving accolades to the other. There were 2 people that presented for Mizo at 2 different times, one each time, right? And I'm not going to mention names, but one's male, one's female, and the female was way better. And when she came onto it and started presenting, they were able to transform the conversation. and she was really good at, and this is how important presence is. The presence of you and how you speak and and by the way, she's French speaking. She has an accent.
Yes.
And she still was able to thoroughly articulate what they do. So people are like, wow. And by the way, Mizo last year took second place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go back to my first year when I started running the program with Alert Ops. They were a surprise. Halfway through the PitchIT season of the 16 weeks, I met who was then going to take over for them and be the face, which was Cam, is he's my man. And he was like, hey, he was new to the industry. And he says to me, can you tell me how to build a channel and what that means? So I had to go into teaching him that. He was an avid student and creating it. And that's why he took the most out of it. And he took over and ended up becoming one of the 3 finalists. And not only that, ended up becoming the winner. The first place winner was Alert Ops in my first year. So those were both surprising. And again, and Alert Ops was all around incident response in a way, but they were able to show how they can automate, and they articulated the value add of what they were doing.
Yeah. And just going back to all prior years, and it seems like it gets crazier and crazier. And I think that what's beginning to stand out is they're really embracing swagger, or like, how do I,
correct,
wearing complete pilots outfits, or
it's
money suits,
it's not about outfits, because Mizo didn't wear one.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't wear one. It is swag and stuff is great, right? It gets you to engage on a regular basis. However, I think the things that you probably need to, every vendor watching this should listen to this exactly. Nobody cares about all the extras.
Yeah.
When I walk up to a person, or I walk into a store, or I'm going to buy something, I already have an intent. It's because I'm trying to solve a problem. I want to know if you solve my problem. I don't care. You just built a widget just recently. I'm sure it's cool, but unless that widget really contributes to how you solve my problem, that's what I'm worried about. So messaging is so important. And every winner, every year of PitchIT, the 3 finalists of every year, and whoever wins are the ones that are the best at narrowing down, removing the noise, and getting to the point of what problem are we solving, and let me show you how we solve it. And by the way, usually you're solving more than one problem. You are solving that one specific thing, but the manner in which and how you do it solves maybe multiple other problems by making them more automated, making them more, giving them the ability to expand further and beyond, simplifying daily procedures, whatever it may be. Yes, but you have to answer that question: what problem we're solving for and how we do it. The rest is just noise.
If there's people applying to PitchIT, this is going to be your tips and tricks video, if you will. So if you're just joining us, we are here live with the Central Mafia, Sean, Lardo, and I. And I do want to talk about, we have a Facebook group. That looks like a really long URL. So Simon and Sam in our back room will, I'm sure, get a URL shortener, and we'll get that taken care of. But there is a Central Mafia Facebook group. We just launched that. So jump in there, join, and there's going to be tips and tricks and collaboration within there. Sean, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure. So for those of you that were always part of the ConnectWise user groups, this was one of them at one point. ConnectWise changed their approach to it to become more specifically educated in certifications, which has been really good for MSPs to get involved in. Like a few hours of a day, 6 hours. I'm not sure exactly how they break it down, but they get involved. They're city to city through ConnectWise. This group is owned, ran, facilitated, and everything by MSPs. So there is a board of MSPs that do run this all. Me being part of ConnectWise, we're avid supporters of it. I'm an avid supporter community in general, so I help to support it. But again, if you have questions, though, I don't see any URL, by the way, going if you're trying to put.
There is a ticker along the bottom. You not see that?
I don't see it. Weird. Anyway, now I do. If I expand, I don't see it, and if I,
you love seeing this pretty mug all close.
It's really pretty. So, yes, if you're an MSP and you're trying to be involved in a community that's very low stress, ask questions, education by osmosis, essentially, this is the group you want to be involved in. They do now 4 meetups a year, 2 over in Anaheim, California, and 2 in Burr Ridge, Illinois. So right outside of Chicago, right outside LA. And this is all for users of all levels. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but there's also now the Facebook group, so you can actually go in there, ask the questions you need. You have tons of MSPs that are actually very thoroughly involved from all elements of the positions they work within their MSP.
Yeah, for sure. We even have Sean's father within the group here. So
that's untrue. I invited you, Keith.
We always love a good banter. Yeah, so real traction, real action, real conversations happening within the Facebook group. Check out centralmafiaug.com, and we'll have a link to the Facebook group and Slack channels and all that stuff on that website. And we just finished up in Anaheim last week, 5 days ago. So pretty cool. So back to PitchIT. Based on like prior years, what are you looking for in pitches today? What's going to tell you this company has the goods to deliver in this space?
That's a good question. So, I mean, first off, let's really just address like what the usual elephants in the room are, right? Typically, again, when an MSP is shopping, like I mentioned before, they're asking you what problem do you solve, how do you solve it, right? And the big part of this is they want to know MSPs are working through the PSAs, right? And the RMMs, right? That's their central core technologies, typically for most. So they want to know how you're going to work side by side, integrated into these things. They're not trying to leave the platforms that they work primarily out of if they don't have to. That's one thing, right? So they're very curious because they're looking to solve a problem, be efficient and effective. Also, too, they're going to ask you, what does it even cost? So you should know all these answers, right? But you can't answer that. You really can't tell cost without establishing value. So when you're pitching, I find the thing that I see happens a lot of times when people pitch, they worry about and focus heavily on discounting and prices and whatnot, as opposed to building value of what we do, how we do it, right? That's the important thing around that. 2, I mentioned before about eliminate the noise. You should be very precise. Fact of the matter is, think about you when you're online looking and they do doom scrolling, right? Usually you stop and watch something that appeals to you immediately. You literally have 5 to 10 seconds to catch somebody's attention in a positive way that'll carry on the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? If you blow smoke and you don't answer the question, hi, what do you do? Well, Adam, what we do is we solve for X. If they're not interested in talking to you, they'll leave, right? If that's not something they're trying to solve, they're like, okay, thank you for telling me about that. Most will still consider a conversation with you for longer because you answered it right away. 2, it is important that when you're presenting, again, you talked about earlier about swagger, right? You have to have charisma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. You have to have a level of presentation that you actually show passion for what you do. It comes out. If you just stand up there, I ever like watch like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Ben Stein's up there and he's talking. He's like, he's a teacher, and he's like, Ferris Bueller, and they show the classroom, and all the kids are basically falling asleep. Right? They're just so bored. You have to get your group. You have to get the audience engaged, and you do that by being excited about it, having a good quality presentation. Also, to add to this, when you're presenting, PowerPoint's visual matters. People pick up information from multiple things. Audio, visual, we know. They want to see these things. So when you have this, you need to set up as such. You need to have a good presentation.
Yeah. I'm just curious, Sean, like we need to poll and we need to think about the over under and how many times we're going to hear the phrase, we're not just another AI platform.
It's not even just AI, it's everything. Everybody's special. Okay, great. Tell me how. Focus on differentiators. What differentiate? And AI is a really good conversation because AI is how cybersecurity has been for the last 6 years. It's the Wild West. Cybersecurity had the problem of, yeah, we do cybersecurity. Great. What's that mean? Well, we protect your data. We protect your net. We protect yourself. Great. How? Wait for the answer, right? That was where they struggled. AI, same thing. We provide AI to do what? We're not just another AI company. Why? How? The question is the how. How are you different? Successful companies, if anybody's done enough sales calls and has done tons of discoveries and presentations, the one thing they learn quickly is that differentiators are important. And that's not saying you talk bad about your competition. That's not the case. You should be able to say, oh, you're talking to Adam about his company too. No, good guy, good company. What they do is they do this. We do this.
Yeah. I mean,
Whatever
Keith mentions how about simply wearing the best shirts in the channel. So
yes,
that is an option. I mean, having your mug, little baby mug, and baby Carlos walking around. So
that's a whole different person.
Yeah, for sure. Sean, I always enjoy co-hosting with you. I wanted to acknowledge to the audience that you clearly are the better looking individual on this. But I also just enjoy just asking the questions, and it can send you off on a tangent for like an hour.
Well, you know why? Because I'm passionate.
I just love this, and that's why I love engaging, because the community we're building, the Central Mafia, the groups that we go on, everything's driven from that particular passion. That's why I'm particularly here. I just love helping, growing, scaling, building MSPs, watching software vendors in the space, and just really and thoroughly enjoy it. It actually gives me excitement. I forget about everything else going on in the world. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, but oil prices are still high. So, Sean, one thing we haven't talked about at all was the prizes. You want to go into that a little bit?
The prize?
Yeah.
Oh.
This year, did we get a prize increase? Did we get to say?
Yes, we did. So, right?
You're holding your hand up now. Now I'm excited because I haven't heard this yet.
So, years passed. I think it's clear. I think we need to set this straight. First off, when you become a finalist, you automatically have won something. This is why you can only become one-time finalist, and in the season, you can only be part of PitchIT one time if you are a finalist in your first year, because you will receive a monetary gain from us. They win right away by what we do is whatever that current year rate is for the kiosks sponsorship at IT Nation Connect Global, whatever that cost is, you are credited for the following year to apply to sponsorship for the following year. So you already win a $15,000 credit essentially.
Nice.
Or 20, depending on whatever the current rate is. Right now it's 15. Now, that's first. Second, historically, we've given away a total of $100,000 in cash money. $70,000 in the first place, $30,000 in the second place. This year, we are giving away a total of $150,000, not in cash, but in cash and credit. So if you take the $15,000 I told you to get credited for being part of the thing, first place will receive $30,000 in cash and $75,000 in IT Nation sponsorship credit for the following year. Second place, will receive $20,000 cash and $35,000 in IT Nation sponsorship credit. Third place will receive $35,000 in IT Nation sponsorship credit. So,
and you can't drop that. Marvin B steak knives.
Marvin steak. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, this is the whole thing.
So I think it's important to understand why this all took place, right?
Yeah.
One thing was we were given what was happening is these companies were winning, right? And we were paying them the first place company, $70,000. And there were taxes associated because there's money being exchanged. And then they were turning around and sponsoring anyway for the $70,000.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, why don't we just credit to where they need it anyway. We're looking for these vendors that want to have staying power. It gives them a chance to be even further baked into our ecosystem, into our community. The biggest challenge for vendors involving anything startup wise is they don't know how to grow or where to invest. So we've essentially helped them get started. To be able to take $75,000 and apply it to IT Nation sponsorship, and that's everything from IT Nation Connect, no matter what geo you want to be in, or Evolve as well. It's across the board for the year. It applies to any one of those things.
Yeah. So let's just recap that because it seemed a little complicated. So if you're a participant in PitchIT, you get a credit?
Not as a participant, as a finalist.
Finalist. So the 3 finalists.
We already give, as far as if you are a participant in the competition, we already give you a discount on sponsoring the kiosk at the Startup Kiosk at Global.
Gotcha.
You don't pay the regular rate. So we already give you that. And we allow you to bring 1 extra person too. Typically for the kiosk, you get to bring 2 people if you're a startup sponsor. But if you're PitchIT, you get to bring a 3rd.
Nice. Okay.
And you pay less.
Nice.
So we've already given that to you.
Awesome.
The
so
next
first
piece
place
is if you're a finalist, again, if you're a finalist and then once all the dust settles and the judges have picked first, second, and third, first place will get $30,000 in cash and $75,000 in IT Nation sponsorship credit for the year.
Awesome.
Second place will get $20,000 cash prize and $35,000 IT Nation sponsorship credit. Third place will receive $35,000 in IT Nation sponsorship credit.
Perfect.
All must be used the following year of the competition you were in.
Within
this year, November, you have to use it in 2027.
Perfect. Okay. That makes sense. Pretty straightforward. I like that because it is just basically exchanging. Everybody basically wants just to have fun. They invest in the company and then they just typically put back. But
they're trying to grow anyway. These companies are typically on the verge of they've already built a pretty solid product for years. They're now into the investment of they're now able to get into the investment of growth. That's where they're trying to be anyway. So we're helping them along. And the one thing, I mentioned about the elephants in the room. One of the elephant is how many vendors show up for 1 year and go on the next year.
Yep.
This gives them a chance to be there for 2 years and be involved. And if the reason why a lot of them don't come back the following years after that is because they might have gone out of business. They may not have grown like they thought they were going to.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, for sure. So any other thoughts before we close? Because I know we're like 35 minutes here.
I say don't forget application period ends at the end of the month. Tell your friends if they haven't applied, make sure everybody knows. Know that if you are accepted, you'll be part of a group of vendors that has had substantial growth over the years. We've had over $8 million invested in some of the companies we've worked with. Not that we've invested, but they've received funding afterwards. We've had multiple companies that have been acquired or merged, so we've had great success with these people. We actually, in 1 year, the 3 finalists were able to, after we reviewed everything, they were able to see how they combined grew $3 million in ARR that year. Yeah. Not saying it's all from PitchIT, right? Because it isn't just from PitchIT. It's from a lot of hard work from them. But being part of that. And how many vendors do you see even have that kind of growth?
Yep. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's a great way to land it. But here's the thing I want to leave, the audience with today. This is our first one. This is getting everything tested, getting the motions kind of going. But I really believe that MSPs and the vendors, who is going to win the next decade are not going to be the ones chasing every single tool, right? They're going to be building their companies, focusing on what actually is going to matter. They're going to be the ones that are being spot the ideas early, build operations around that, implement the tool, and actually use them very well. And I think days like today, and we'll see the competition in the future. It's going to be really, really critical because there's going to be a ton of new tools in the marketplace, especially because now there's AI and you can easily self-program some stuff. It's really, really gnarly what's coming down.
Absolutely.
Sean, thank you for riding shotgun. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you. For everyone else watching, we'll see you next time. We're going to be here every Tuesday, I believe, at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have that schedule out. Once we get things going, we'll have announcements and we'll keep plugging away. Be sure and join the Central Mafia Facebook group and check out the Central Mafia user group page and where you can find out more about Central Mafia. Appreciate it, guys. Peace out. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Look, you can hit end it and end on time.
I know.
Can't
Watch
wait.
this.